All right, thanks a lot, Kit, for that update. Now, Memphis crews are working to clear roads after the storm. In the past hour, the city's public works director announced that trucks have been on major routes, but the neighborhood roads, they haven't been treated yet. Our Lauren Turman picks up our live team coverage with a closer look at the conditions here in Memphis. Lauren.
Hey, Ruben, good afternoon. I want to talk about some of those conditions that the city of Memphis brought up in that meeting that you just talked about. But before I do, I want to show you what conditions are looking like here downtown. We're at the corner of Front Street and Adams, and there has been no paving that's been going on earlier. If you can actually look down the street here, you see a couple of cars that have been driving, a couple of people walking as well, but these roads have not been paved. As far as we've been seeing here downtown, only the heavily trafficked areas have been paved here so far. Now, if you also come back to a look at me, I want to show you just the magnitude of the sleet and the snow and how it has completely frozen over. As I'm stepping on this, my foot is barely even making an indentation in this snow. You can try to kick it. It's really just sleet that's coming up at this point because that snow is so frozen underneath that layer of sleet as it was falling earlier this morning. Now, I told you that I'm going to talk more extensively about what the city of Memphis said in that conference. There were several different departments that came on and gave an update about the conditions that they are facing in Memphis. And Public Works was one of the most important parts of that. They talked about the difficulty of these road conditions at this point and how they're trying to salt and plow the streets. But those smaller roads and neighborhood roads are making it very difficult for them to do that right now. And they're working as quickly as possible, but they do expect it to take some time to get to everybody in need. They also talked about the potential of some of the accumulation of the sleet and snow melting, then refreezing potentially overnight, and then it creating an ice problem for all of Memphis. They say they're very concerned about that at this point, and that could become a real problem starting tomorrow, especially for any of the drivers out here. We have been seeing a lot of people driving downtown since this morning. Of course, we've been asking for people to stay off the roads, but arguably we've seen more people out here today than we did yesterday. So hopefully with some of these conditions and some of these warnings from City of Memphis officials, people will stay off the roads as much as possible, especially if that ice issue does eventually happen and it refreezes overnight to create that layer of ice for Memphians in this area. We've seen the effects of that in northern Mississippi, and so it is very unsafe travel at this point. Now, coming up, they also talked about warming centers. I'm going to give you a breakdown of how many people are in those warming centers and how the Memphis Area Transit Authority is playing into all of this and trying to assist people as much as possible in these conditions. And I'll tell you all about that a little later this afternoon. But for now, live in downtown Memphis, I'm Lauren Turman, ABC24 News.